The crystal shattered against the window. Marcus Reid, 37-year-old billionaire, Forbes cover star, man who'd built a $12 billion empire, stood in his penthouse watching his entire plan collapse. 48 hours until his brother's wedding. His date just canceled via text. And his mother was waiting in Vermont to eviscerate him for showing up alone. Again. So Marcus did something desperate. Something insane. He hired a stranger to pretend to love him for 5 days. $10,000. One wedding. Simple transaction. Except the woman who walked into that meeting wasn't simple at all. Elena Brooks, daughter of a disgraced billionaire, broke artist with nothing to lose, woman who saw through his billion-dollar facade in 30 seconds. And somewhere between the fake smiles and scripted kisses, something happened that neither of them planned for. The lie became real. The contract became meaningless. And Marcus Reid made the biggest gamble of his life. This is what happened when pretending became impossible. If you want to see how this ends, you need to subscribe right now. Hit that button. Because this story goes places you won't see coming. And I need you here for every twist. Let's go. Sarah, get in here. Now. His assistant appeared in 30 seconds, taking in the shattered glass and Marcus's barely controlled rage without flinching. Vanessa bailed. I need a replacement. Tonight. For the 5-day Vermont wedding? Sarah's eyebrows rose fractionally. Mr. Reid, that's in 48 hours. I'm aware. Find me someone who can handle my family without embarrassing me or getting ideas about making this permanent. Marcus loosened his tie like it was strangling him. No escorts. My mother would sniff that out instantly. Sarah went quiet, her fingers hovering over her tablet. Then something shifted in her expression. My roommate. Marcus turned. Your roommate, Elena Brooks, painter, just had a devastating breakup. Canceled her summer plans. She's talented, broke, and has nothing to lose. Sarah paused. Her father was Vincent Brooks. Marcus went completely still. Everyone in Silicon Valley knew that name. The venture capitalist who'd lost billions in the 2022 crypto crash. The man whose spectacular fall had been front-page news for months. She grew up with wealth and lost it all, Sarah continued. She knows how to navigate those circles. And honestly, her ex cleaned out their joint account 3 weeks ago. She desperately needs the money. Perfect. A woman who understood that world but had no stake in it. Who'd been betrayed and would understand the transaction. Set it up. Pinnacle Hotel rooftop bar. 7 p.m. Tonight. But here's what Marcus didn't know. Elena Brooks was about to walk into that meeting and destroy every assumption he'd ever made about control. 3 miles away, Elena stared at her phone in disbelief. Mel, a billionaire needs a fake girlfriend? This is literally a rom-com plot. Elle, you were just crying into ice cream while stalking David's Instagram with his new girlfriend. Sarah's voice was firm. This is $10,000. For months of rent. Your studio lease. Everything David stole. Elena looked around her apartment. Half-finished canvases everywhere. Her latest piece, titled Betrayal, mocking her from its easel. For $100 in her checking account. Rent due in 2 weeks. She needed this. Desperately. Fine. When? Tonight. 7 p.m. Wear the emerald dress. The moment Elena stepped onto the rooftop bar, Marcus knew he'd miscalculated. She wasn't desperate or broken. She moved with quiet confidence in that emerald dress, dark hair falling in waves, eyes that were intelligent and wary and saw right through him. Mr. Reid. Her handshake was firm. I'm Elena Brooks. No flirtation. No games. Just direct honesty. Marcus, please. He gestured to the chair. Sarah explained the situation? She did. Your date canceled. You need a replacement. 5 days. $10,000. Elena took a sip of wine, studying him. But I need to understand what you're actually asking for. Because I'm not an escort. It's not that. Marcus leaned forward. I need someone to attend my brother's wedding. Someone who can handle conversation, navigate social situations, and convincingly play the role of my girlfriend without making it weird. And why me? Elena's gaze was piercing. Surely you know women who'd do this without payment. Because those women would want more. They'd see this as an opportunity to get close to Marcus Reid, billionaire. You need the money and have no illusions. Something flickered across Elena's face. Pain, recognition. You don't pull punches. Honesty saves time. Then let me be honest too. Elena set down her glass. I have 3 conditions. First, appropriate clothing, nothing extravagant. Second, I won't lie about who I am. Third, I can walk away if I'm uncomfortable. Marcus considered. More than reasonable. Agreed. I have one condition: we present a united front. Any disagreements stay private. Elena extended her hand. Then we have a deal. But when their hands touched, held a beat too long, both of them felt it. That spark of something that wasn't supposed to be part of the arrangement. For the next hour, they talked. Marcus outlined his family with clinical precision. His mother, Patricia, philanthropic powerhouse who could destroy you with disappointment. His brother, Daniel, cardiac surgeon, golden child, everything Marcus wasn't. Your mother sounds terrifying, Elena observed. She is. She's never forgiven me for choosing business over her foundation. To her, I'm the son who chose profit over purpose. Is that true? The question caught Marcus off guard. Maybe. I built Reid Technologies to prove I didn't need the family name. But somewhere along the way, the company became everything. That sounds incredibly lonely. The observation hit harder than Marcus expected. It's practical. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Tell me about your father, Marcus said. Vincent Brooks. Elena's expression shifted. Something raw before she locked it down. One day we had everything. Houses, cars, country clubs. The next day we had nothing. Less than nothing. Her voice went flat. My father leveraged everything on crypto. When it crashed in 2022, we lost it all in 72 hours. Marcus stayed silent. I was 25. I watched my father stop getting out of bed. Watched my parents' marriage disintegrate. Elena's voice cracked. He died 2 years ago. Heart attack at 56. But honestly, I think he died the day the money disappeared. I'm sorry. Don't be. Taught me that money doesn't define worth. And the only thing you can count on is yourself. Elena straightened. Is that why you agreed to this arrangement? The money? Partly. But also because I'm tired of being the victim in my own story. If I'm going to survive, I need to take control. And in that moment, 2 wounded people recognizing each other's scars, something shifted. This wasn't just a transaction anymore. By the time Marcus's driver dropped Elena at her apartment, the arrangement felt less like business and more like something else. As Elena walked away, she turned back. Marcus was watching through the window. They held eye contact for 5 seconds. Then Elena disappeared inside, and Marcus whispered to the empty car, "Fuck," because he just realized this wasn't going to be simple at all. Friday morning, private jet to Vermont, luxury SUV through postcard countryside. As the Reid estate appeared, sprawling colonial mansion, manicured gardens, generational wealth made visible. Elena's confidence cracked. Nervous? Marcus asked. Terrified. Marcus took her hand. You belong here as much as anyone. You were born into this world. And now you're walking back in with your head high. That takes courage. Elena squeezed his hand back. Thank you. But what neither knew. The moment they walked through those doors, everything would change. The back terrace. Patricia Reid sat like a queen, silver hair perfect, eyes sharp as scalpels. Mother. Marcus's voice went formal. May I introduce Elena Brooks? Patricia rose, extending her hand. Ms. Brooks, how delightful to meet the woman who captured my son's attention. The assessment was brutal. Elena felt like she was being scanned for weaknesses. The pleasure is mine, Mrs. Reid. Your gardens remind me of my grandmother's estate in Massachusetts. Patricia's expression shifted, interest replacing pure assessment. Your grandmother had an estate? She did. She was passionate about historical horticulture. I spent summers helping her research period-appropriate plantings. Brooks. Patricia's gaze sharpened. Any relation to Vincent Brooks? Here it was. He was my father, yes. Silence. Was? Patricia's voice was gentle but probing. He passed 2 years ago. Heart attack. Elena kept her voice steady. But he left behind important lessons about resilience and character. Patricia studied her for a long moment. Then something softened. I'm very sorry. Vincent was brilliant. I regretted what happened in 22. Elena had just passed the first test. And what do you do now, dear? I'm a painter. Contemporary abstract. I showed at the Morrison Gallery last year. Patricia's eyebrows rose. The Morrison? That's quite prestigious. Elena has extraordinary talent, Marcus interjected, his hand finding Elena's back. I've been trying to convince her to create a piece for Reid Technologies. And in that small gesture, his hand, his defense of her, Elena felt something shift. This was starting to feel real. That night's welcome dinner was spectacular. Crystal, fairy lights, string quartet. Elena, in midnight blue, charmed everyone at the table. How long have you been together? Asked Margaret, Daniel's future mother-in-law. 3 months, Elena replied, her hand finding Marcus's. Though we've known of each other longer. Only 3 months and already at family weddings? Must be serious. Elena looked at Marcus, and something real passed between them. We're taking things one day at a time. But I will say, each day has been better than the last. Marcus's fingers laced through hers. Much better. Neither of them were acting anymore, and they both knew it. As dessert was served, Marcus and Elena walked through moonlit gardens. Can I ask you something? Elena paused by a fountain. Of course. Why are you so tense around your family? Marcus was silent, jaw working. The Reids have always had expectations. My father chose business over the family foundation. Profit over philanthropy. I followed him, and they've never forgiven either of us. Elena stepped closer. The Sustainable Development Projects. That's your attempt to bridge those worlds? Marcus looked at her sharply. How did you? I noticed things. That night, lying in opposite sides of the enormous bed, both were hyper-aware of the other. Marcus, Elena whispered. Yeah, thank you for defending me to your mother. I meant it. I want to see your work. After this. In the darkness, Elena smiled. I'd like that. But what neither said. Something was happening between them. Something that terrified them both. Saturday morning. Lawn games. Croquet. Elena destroyed everyone, including Marcus. His cousins were delighted. Where did you find her? Philip called out. She's nothing like your usual type. Marcus watched Elena laugh, completely unguarded. She's one of a kind. And in that moment, watching her shine, Marcus felt it. He was falling. The afternoon picnic. Daniel's fiancée Amy asked, How did you really meet? Elena glanced at Marcus, then improvised. At a coffee shop. I was sketching and Marcus was on an intense business call. When he noticed me drawing him, instead of being weird, he asked to see it. Then asked me to dinner. It was a beautiful lie, but the way Elena looked at him while telling it, that was real. The rehearsal dinner. Crystal chandeliers. Elegant wealth. Marcus, would you like to say something? Daniel called out. Marcus stood, unprepared, heart hammering. Daniel and I grew up like brothers, which means I've watched him become the man he is today. Marcus paused, finding Elena's eyes. What always struck me was his certainty about what mattered. While I chased success, Daniel chased meaning. While I built structures, Daniel built relationships. His voice cracked. I've always admired that. And in Amy, you found someone who shares that priority. He raised his glass. To Daniel and Amy, may you remind the rest of us what truly matters. As he sat, Elena's hand found his beneath the table, squeezing. When he looked at her, there were tears in her eyes. That was beautiful, she whispered. I meant every word. And they both knew. They'd stopped pretending somewhere along the way. Later, preparing for bed, Tension suffocated the room. "You didn't have to say those things about my speech," Marcus said suddenly. "You don't have to perform when we're alone. This is business, Elena. You're being paid." The moment the words left his mouth, Marcus knew he'd destroyed something precious. Elena's expression shuddered, warmth vanishing. "You're right. This is business. Thank you for the reminder." She disappeared into the bathroom, door closing with a soft click that felt like a gunshot. Marcus stood there, hating himself, because he'd just pushed away something real because he was terrified of it. When Elena emerged, she slipped into bed on her side, keeping distance that felt like miles. "Elena, I didn't mean." "It's fine, Marcus. You're right. This is business." And lying there in darkness, both pretending to sleep, they knew the truth. Something real had been growing, and Marcus had just killed it. Sunday morning, the wedding. Elena left early. Marcus was alone with his regret. The ceremony was held in the gardens. Marcus arrived early, scanning for Elena. He spotted her immediately in that champagne dress, radiant, but when their eyes met, hers were guarded. He'd done this. He'd destroyed it. As the ceremony began, the officiant spoke about love and courage, about vulnerability. Marcus made a decision. He stood, moving through rows of seated guests. Heads turned, whispers rippled. He slid into the seat beside Elena. She stiffened. "I'm sorry," Marcus whispered as vows were exchanged, "for what I said. I was an idiot. I was scared, and I hurt you." Elena's hands trembled in her lap. "I know you weren't acting. I know this has been real. I said what I said because I was terrified of how real this has become." "Marcus, I don't want this to end tomorrow. This isn't pretending anymore. Not for me." Elena finally looked at him, tears streaming. "It's not pretending for me either, and it terrifies me." "I know. I'm scared too." Marcus took her hand. "But I think that's the point. Real things are scary, and you're the most important thing that's happened to me in years." Around them, Daniel and Amy exchanged vows, promises of forever. And Marcus Reid, man who'd spent his life avoiding vulnerability, felt something break open inside him. The reception, fairy lights, candles, music. "Dance with me," Marcus said. They moved together, perfect synchronization. "Our lives are so different," Elena said. "You're a billionaire. I paint in a studio apartment. What kind of relationship could we have?" "The kind we want." Marcus pulled her closer. "I've spent 37 years following a script, measuring success in dollars, and it's hollow. Then you walked in and changed everything." "Marcus, I don't know if I can be what you need. You see me, not the Forbes cover or the net worth. You see the person underneath. You challenge me. You make me want to be better." His voice cracked. "Do you know how rare that is?" Elena's eyes glistened. "I see you, and I've already fallen for you. I think I started falling that first night." "Then fall," Marcus whispered. "I'll catch you." And then, surrounded by hundreds of people, he kissed her. Not for show, for them. When they broke apart, both breathless, Marcus said, "Move in with me. We find somewhere new. Together." "Marcus, that's huge." "I know. It's crazy. It's fast. But I don't want to be careful anymore. I want to try. With you." Elena was crying and laughing. "I have conditions." "Of course you do. I pay half the rent. I keep my studio space. And we do this for real all the way." "Agreed. When we get back to San Francisco, we start looking. Together." "Together," Elena echoed. They kissed again. Deeper. A kiss that felt like falling and flying. Two people who'd agreed to pretend found something infinitely more valuable. Real love. 6 months later, Marcus stood in Elena's studio, watching her work on a massive canvas. "This is incredible," he said. "You think so?" Elena had paint on her cheek. "I'm worried it's too chaotic." Marcus wrapped his arms around her. "It's perfect." The past 6 months had been a journey. Marcus learning to leave work at reasonable hours. Elena learning to trust again. Building something real. They'd found a loft together, Elena had her studio. Marcus had a home office he actually left. It was messy and imperfect and absolutely perfect. I got an email from the Morrison Gallery, Elena said. And they want a solo show. 3 months. September opening. Marcus's smile was genuine joy. That's incredible. We're celebrating. Actually, I was thinking there's this cabin in Big Sur. No cell service. Just us and the ocean. Marcus looked at the rustic listing. Perfect. When? Friday afternoon. For you? I can always make time. That weekend in Big Sur, hiking, simple meals, existing outside their normal lives. On their last night, watching the sunset, Elena leaned against him. When I agreed to be your fake girlfriend 6 months ago, I never imagined this. Marcus kissed her hair. Neither did I, but I'm grateful for every moment. Even your mother's interrogation? Especially that, though she told Daniel she approves of you. That's practically an engagement announcement. Elena sat up. Speaking of, Marcus reached into his jacket, pulling out a velvet box. Elena's hands flew to her mouth. I've been carrying this for 2 weeks, Marcus admitted, waiting for the perfect moment. Then I realized, every moment with you is perfect. He opened the box. Simple, elegant ring catching the dying light. Elena Brooks, you crashed into my life pretending to be something you weren't. Instead, you showed me who I could be. Will you marry me? Elena was crying. Yes, absolutely yes. Marcus slipped the ring on with shaking hands, pulled her close, kissed her as the sun set. 2 people from different worlds who'd found each other through the most unconventional beginning. A business arrangement that became the realest thing in either of their lives. Marcus and Elena's story started with desperation and $10,000. A fake relationship that became devastatingly real. They learned that sometimes love comes when you're pretending it's already there. That sometimes you have to fake it until you realize you're not faking anymore. The contract said 5 days. The love lasted forever. Here's what I need from you right now. Would you take that deal? $10,000 to pretend to love someone for 5 days, knowing you might actually fall? Drop a comment. Tell me honestly, would you risk your heart? If the story moved you, if you felt something real in these moments of pretending, do 3 things. Hit that like button, because stories about real courage deserve celebration. Subscribe to Billionaire Bedtime Stories. We're building a community that believes in messy love and second chances. Share this video. Send it to someone who needs to hear that love is worth the risk.